Hi everyone, I'm back with another Champions League check-in. I know it's been a while, but I felt that it was long overdue. So, for those that don't know, I'm not a Champions League expert in any shape or form. If you exclude players from the established teams, I could barely name any that play in the Champions League. I probably know as much about the Champions League as I do the Championship. So, yeah, take what I say with a pinch of salt. Having said all of that, this is probably my first attempt at playing the game semi-seriously, you could say. And as you can see on the screen there, currently ranked just outside of the top 1K of England, 36K overall. And I didn't really have any aims or ambitions when I started playing this season. But it was really more to do with the fact that Newcastle United were playing their first European campaign after a 20-year hiatus. So the plan basically was just to have a bit of fun, really. And um, having said all of that, I've slowly climbed up the overall rank table. And my aim basically now is maybe finish in the top 1K, perhaps for England, and see where it goes from there. So before I get into my wildcard team for game week 5 or match day 5, beg your pardon, I just wanted to give you an update with what happened in match day 4. And in match day 4, I actually used my limitless chip. And the reason being, I had a lot of players who are actually out from match day 3. One of my regrets, annoyingly, was I thought Haaland might potentially be out, and I got rid of him, and he hauled in match day 4, unfortunately. But then, thankfully, the players I got instead did the job nonetheless. So 91 points in match day 4, thanks to Morata, Kane, Vinicius Jr. up top. All the strikers banged. Midfield was a bit disappointing with Sane and Musiala. I was expecting a lot more from them. But then Foden, who was my captain for the Tuesday, scored a goal. And then Saka did the business the day after. And then in defence, not really much to speak of apart from Molina and Rudiger. And the bench was fairly sparse to say the least. So that 91 points just propelled me up the table, so I was fairly content with that. Up until that point, it's been going fairly steady, 78 points, 61, 64, 91. And of course, the rules are different when it comes to Fantasy Premier League with the changes that you can do at the midway point and the way that the chips work as well. Talking of which, the rules are quite interesting as well with the 2 free transfers per match day. And I was just ticking along. I didn't really have a grand plan on when I'd use the limitless chip or when I'd use my wild card. But then, as circumstance would have it, I really had to use my wild card during match day 4. So did the business, worked out for me. And then I thought, well, I've got 2 match days left. And of course, we've got the unlimited transfers after the group stages finish. And then you've got a few, the transfer number obviously increases per match day from that point onwards. So I thought, you know what? I can just almost use it like a free hit, as it were. So again, I've had to be pragmatic at the same time as well. So looking at the group stages, I've tried to factor in where there's potential upsides. Obviously, Bayern Munich, they're well clear. They've effectively won the group. They're not effectively, they have won the group. So it's really between Copenhagen, Galatasaray, and United, who are just slogging it out for that second spot. So in theory, I shouldn't pick any Bayern Munich players, but last famous words there, and you'll see why. And then Group B, with Arsenal, again, a win would all but seal top spot for them. Barring a catastrophe, they'll finish second. So hoping that they'll have one more upside push in their remaining, in the penultimate group game. And then really up for grabs when it comes to PSV and Lons as well. And then Sevilla, I think mathematically could probably still get second spot as well, but knowing them, probably get into the Europa League group stages. Oh, well, the knockouts, I beg your pardon, and win that competition. And again, Group C, Real Madrid have effectively won Group C, so probably need to be cautious with investing too heavily with them. But then again, you look at Napoli, who you could say effectively have secured second spots. A good win for them should do that. And then Group D, it's the top two spots are settled with Real Sociedad and Inter, but they'll probably fight it out for that first spot. And then, I mean, Benfica just like got nothing to play for now. Maybe third spot, who knows? And you got Group E, literally up for grabs between Feyenoord, Lazio, and Atletico Madrid, and Celtic. Well, won't even get third place here. So just whipping boys of the group. And then Group F, my team, Newcastle United, only 3 points in it between first and fourth, but you'd hope that if they can just get a positive result against PSG, then that will potentially give them a chance for second spot going into that final group game. And at the worst, like maybe still be in for contention for third place. I mean, the 2 defeats to Dortmund just completely derailed their chances, but it's still up for grabs. Closest group from first to fourth as things stand. And then Group G, again, Man City have qualified, all but secured top spot. And then you've got Young Boys and Red Star, who are just playing for third spot there. So having factored all of that in, I then decided to make some changes. I guess I was influenced to some degree with my match day 4 team as well, the limitless chip. But look, I've wasted enough time as it is, and I could potentially make some more changes between now and the deadline, but I'm fairly set on this team. So look, without further ado, here is my wildcard team for match day 5. So apart from match day 4 on the limitless chip, I've not really had Harry Kane, and just makes sense to get him in with all the goals he's been scoring. And like I've said, Bayern have qualified for the knockout stages. So in some respects, you'd expect rotation from their team. So I was kind of reluctant to get Harry Kane in, but then I thought actually he's got the goal scoring record. He's still like on at the moment. So you'd expect him, even if he gets 1 goal, you expect him to get something out of the match against Copenhagen, who, they've done all right. They've not been too bad at all in the Champions League. I just thought they'd be the whipping boys of Group A, but they're in second place right now, scored 7 goals, almost 2 goals per game. So that will no doubt be a very challenging game for Bayern Munich. But I'm going to pick him. Harry Kane, form of his life, have to get him in. Then you've got Haaland, who, again, was kind of reluctant to get him as well. But then his form has been fairly reasonable this season as well. I had him in my team before match day 4. So just made sense to have him as another big hitter up top. And then Morata as my other striker. So of the 2 players that I've mentioned right now, technically, team-wise, they don't have anything really to play for in terms of the groups being secured. But then due to their pedigree and their, just goal threat, just made sense to have them regardless. I've got no doubt that by match day 6, their minutes will be heavily managed. If match day 4, it's a question mark. They still get managed minutes even then. But I think that if they are going to get managed minutes, will most likely be during match day 6. So happy to keep them for now. And of course, I've got the 2 free transfers if I feel that there is an issue there. And then there's Morata for Atletico Madrid. And as I mentioned when I reviewed the groups, Madrid really have got something to play for with 2 points separating the top three. So happy to have him in, and he scored in the previous round as well. Of course, Griezmann could have made more sense for me, but haven't got the funds, and you'll see why. So on to the midfield now. Bellingham was injured for match day 4, and I got rid of him. But then just scoring goals left, right, and centre. And again, just like Harry Kane, breaking records as well. Just like Bayern and Man City, the group is all but secure. But for the personal goal scoring form, it just makes sense to keep him for the remaining 2 match days. And then in some ways, I really should be using this more like a free hit, but at the same time, I don't want to go completely rogue with my picks as well. So there's a fine balancing act there. And you'll see my bench as well, the depth that I have there. So it just makes sense to just have some common sense. And then Rodri, with him, what's interesting is that in terms of, can I just zoom out slightly? Just give me one moment. Oh, that's too much. So with Rodri, he's actually done all right. Like, from an FPL perspective, not massive amount of interest, but then 10 points in match day 1, 3 points in match day 8. So there is that potential. Obviously, the ball recoveries rule as well. Like, I think, is it 12 ball recoveries, you get 4 points, 3, you get 1, etc. So he's got the potential to score points, even if he doesn't get an assist or a goal. So fairly content with having him back in my team as well. I believe he was also unavailable for match day 4. Finally, someone who's somewhat of a differential, and it's Sudakov of Shakhtar Donetsk. And in that instance, it kind of made sense to get him in as a player for a team that actually has something to play for. And again, in fairness, should have more of these players that have got something to play for. But Shakhtar Donetsk, 3 points behind Porto and Barcelona. This is really a must-win match for them against Antwerp. And having looked at the players that are available for their team, seems as if really Sudakov was the only one I could probably consider. So just made sense to get him in. And if in doubt, the good thing with Sudakov is he's playing on the Tuesday. So if he doesn't do well, I can sub him out before the Wednesday games. And then Kimmich, a bit of a boring pick. Again, relatively high owned, 6,637, fairly decent at that price point of 6.5 million. And then with Bayern and Copenhagen, again, mindful, I could have got a Musiala, could have got Sane, but just didn't have the funds. And I thought maybe he's like a relatively safe pick. I probably should have been a bit more like rogue instead of Kimmich getting like another 6.5 million player from Shakhtar or one of those others who are competing. I think was it Real Sociedad? They've got Mendes, I think, who's relatively cheap. And he's done although he blanked in match day 4, he's done fairly reasonable to date as well. But then I just thought I'll just pick a relatively boring pick there, and then the peace of mind I've got with Kimmich is that he's playing on a Wednesday, so I can't really sub him out, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll make do with him. On to the defense now. So I did significantly shift my defenders from what they were before. So Lazzari of Lazio playing against Celtic, who literally have nothing to play for now, and yeah, got a clean sheet last time out, hoping they can do the same against Celtic in the home fixture. And then is it Zubeldia of Real Sociedad? Again, surprised at the amount of clean sheets and points he's picked up with them. 4.6 million, can't go wrong. And Lazzari, I beg your pardon, was 4.5 million. And then Cancelo, again, a stalwart from the FPL days. Kind of disappointed. I was hoping he'd be scoring more points than he actually has got at this moment in time, but it is what it is. So again, with Barcelona, Porto and Antwerp, reasonable hope that he can keep 2 clean sheets in those remaining games. I just couldn't really justify another Barcelona attacker like a Lewandowski or a João Felix. Just haven't really been great when I've had them in my Champions League team. And then from the midfielders, who is there really? Is it like Gundogan? And I think Rafinha is also classed as a striker as well. He's not a midfielder, unlike his FPL days. But yeah, I couldn't. He's the only. I needed a Barcelona player, and he's the only one that like really stuck out. And the goalkeeper, again, gone to Lazio, gone for the double up, Providel. So hoping he can get something, get the double clean sheet against Celtic. And if not, this is where I've now differed. So I'm going to show my bench now, and it's different because I've got significantly more depth in my bench than I had done on my in my team between game weeks, match days 1 to 3. So Romero, again, it's been reasonable goalkeeper for me, done well for Real Sociedad. So 4.0 million, you can't really go wrong. And then again, with Real Madrid, could have got Rodrigo, a few others perhaps, but again with Napoli and Union Berlin, hoping he can nip in with a couple of clean sheets in those final games. So, of course, Real Madrid in match day 5 are playing on the Wednesday, so could potentially sub him in if one of the players blank. So see what happens. Again, Kim, interesting player for Bayern. Didn't really even consider him at all. Quietly chipped away with points along the way. I don't think they've kept many clean sheets, but 360 minutes played, 6 goals conceded, 40 ball recoveries, which is quite incredible. No goals, no assists, and just confirmed that. Has he even kept a clean sheet? I don't think he has. No, 1 goal conceded, 1 goal conceded. So that's quite impressive. The fact he's been scoring like those points without even keeping a clean sheet. So again, a potential player I can sub on for the Wednesday fixtures if the others fail. And then Saka, absolute sensation when he's on form. He's been scoring last time out in the Champions League, and then you kind of feel that once they secure, if they secure the top spot in that final match, that he might most likely be rested for match day 6, especially with the busy Christmas fixture period as well. So there is that risk that I have that despite picking a lot of safe players and a lot of players who have that proven prowess, that I could be wrecking my wild card by match day 6. So I just need to be mindful. I've got no doubt that like the likes of Bellingham, managed minutes, Kane, possible. Kane, even with his Tottenham days, wasn't really rested. But I just need to be mindful that some of these players may not have anything to play for. I'd say about 4 or 5 of them, 6 of them even, by match day 6. So that's where the risk. That's where the risk is. And of course, got the 2 free transfers, so I can really just rejig the team if need be. So yeah, that's where I'm at with my team for match day 6. Fairly content in terms of balance. I'd say just for comparison, actually, I think it makes sense to show my match day 1 team if I can just switch it over. Lewandowski, Haaland, Mbappe, and then disappointing Thuram, 40 get starts, points, not really been the case. And then there's Luka Ivanusic, for a bit of a differential, hasn't really done much. Bellingham, Rodri bailed me out then. Koundé and Cancelo, and also Botman as well with the clean sheet against Milan. Didn't expect that. And then Sommer, and then actually it wasn't that bad. I thought my bench was light. Look at Darmian, didn't play. Valverde and Akanji on the bench, so it wasn't too bad in the end actually. I've kind of noticed this pattern where with FPL, the logic is to go heavier in midfield, but almost like in UEFA Champions League, you're more inclined to go for the like strikers just due to the sheer amount of strikers that are available. So I went for 3 big hitters in match day 1, had 3 big hitters in match day 2, match day 3. Technically, João Felix, is he a big hitter? Probably not. Let's say 2.5 there. And then match day 4, I know Morata's price has reduced and probably not a big hitter in the strictest sense of the word, but even Vinicius Jr., well, uh, in fairness to him, he is with a million price tag, but um, it's just being able to justify playing like a 3-4-3 formation. And to be fair, my midfield has been very, apart from match day 4, the midfield has been very, very light. And you look at it here, of course, Bellingham, bit of an outlier at 7.9 million. I think his starting price was 7 million. I've got no doubt that Bellingham's price will be a double-digit price tag come next season. And then like Kimmich, Sudakov, Rodri, I'm kind of like risking it with all 3 there, perhaps. So really relying on the defense to deliver, Bellingham, as well as the 3 strikers. And then anything that Rodri, Sudakov, and Kimmich can do will basically be a bonus. So there you have it. That's my squad for match day 5. And just as a reminder, the aim is to finish in the top 1K of my Geo, so just outside of it at this moment in time, and hoping that it works wonders with the wild card in match day 5, and then can wing it in match day 6, and then use the unlimited transfers accordingly for the round of 6 games. So look, as always, if you're able to like, share, and subscribe, that will be greatly appreciated. And thank you very much for following my UEFA Fantasy Champions League journey. Take care and all the best. Thank you. Bye.